Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to bypass the obvious AI chipmakers for a minute and uncover the hidden pick and shovel business that is literally making this entire revolution possible. Now, if you're tracking the AI megatrend, you know the big names, right? The hyperscalers pouring billions into infrastructure, the massive design houses creating the silicon. But today, we're looking at the company standing right behind them, quietly holding the keys to the kingdom. We're talking about a behind-the-scenes titan that the entire industry absolutely relies on. So let's kick things off with a question you probably haven't asked yourself, but one that is absolutely fundamental to the tech industry right now. Who makes sure a $40,000 AI chip actually works? We constantly hear about hyperscalers buying up custom hardware, GPUs, NPUs, you name it, by the absolute truckload. But the real mystery, the unsung hero of this whole story, is who guarantees these incredibly complex processors function flawlessly before they ever see the inside of a data center. Just think about it. If a single microscopic flaw makes it into a massive server cluster, the costs in downtime and replacement, they're catastrophic. To answer that, we really have to understand automated test equipment, or ATE. These are the essential, highly specialized hardware systems used to rigorously evaluate and validate complex semiconductor chips before they can actually be utilized in final products. Basically, this represents the crucial validation bottleneck that every single advanced AI accelerator must pass through. I mean, you can design the most powerful, intricate chip on the planet, but without ATE to verify that billions of microscopic transistors are firing exactly as they should, it's essentially just very expensive sand. This testing phase isn't a nice-to-have, it is absolutely mandatory. And that brings us to Advantest, the dominant global leader in this space. They aren't just participating in the market, they are the world's largest ATE provider. They're the indispensable gatekeeper of the AI revolution. They act as the essential enabler for the entire artificial intelligence supply chain. Every single time chip sizes increase or the packaging gets more complex, the testing time per chip structurally goes up. And Advantest is perfectly positioned to catch that massive, accelerating wave. Let's move into Section 1. Record-breaking financial performance. Let's talk about a mind-bending number, 1.13 trillion yen. Advantest just closed out fiscal year 2025 with a staggering 1,128.6 billion yen in revenue. By hitting that mark, they completely shattered their previous records with a 44.7% year-over-year increase. That's not just a marginal beat, you know? It's a massive structural leap that tells us something fundamental is changing in their market dynamics. For anyone following tech infrastructure, this matters immensely. You rarely see a mature hardware company scale its revenue by nearly 50% in a single year unless they're holding a virtual monopoly on a critical bottleneck. What's really fascinating here is the trajectory of that growth. Following a typical semiconductor cycle dip down to 486.5 billion yen in 2024, they experienced a massive 60% leap up to that 1.13 trillion mark in 2025. It perfectly illustrates how the AI boom has completely disrupted traditional cyclical semiconductor trends. The old rules of cyclical dips, yeah, they simply aren't applying to them right now. And it isn't just top-line growth. Profitability absolutely exploded. Operating profit hit 499.1 billion yen. That is up an incredible 118.8%. Net profit surged by a massive 132.9% to reach 375.4 billion yen, with gross income growing 86.9%. This exceptional performance is totally filling their coffers too. Because of this massive surge in profitability, their cash and cash equivalents grew significantly, reaching 196 billion yen by the end of December 2024. They are quite literally printing money faster than they ever have. But the most crucial point on their financials is this: 62.7%. A gross profit margin sitting at 62.7% isn't just a fun statistic. It is a clear testament to their dominant market position and a highly favorable product mix of complex AI testers. In the hardware world, margins north of 60% mean you have incredible pricing power. It means customers essentially have no choice but to pay what you're asking because your technology is so specialized and so critical that cheaper alternatives simply don't exist. Now on to Section 2, Strategic Drivers and Innovation. So what's actually making these numbers so durable? The answer lies heavily with their flagship piece of hardware, the V9300 SoC test system. This is the platform of choice for evaluating the world's most advanced AI chips. It is the absolute gold standard. Advantest already held a massive lead in testing AI accelerators, but thanks to the specific capabilities of the V9300, they managed to capture an additional 10 percentage points of market share over the past year alone. So they aren't just growing with the market, they are actively eating their competitors' lunch. And that skyrocketing demand, it makes total sense when you look at how testing complexity has changed. Traditional testing relied on standard validation processes with relatively short testing times. But AI chip testing is a whole different beast. Each chip now goes through 10 to 20 rigorous tests. On top of that, management noted in their earnings call that next-generation architectures, like NVIDIA's Blackwell, demand 3 to 4 times longer in the testing phase than previous generations. Just think about the math there for a second. If a chip takes 4 times longer to test, the manufacturer literally needs to buy 4 times as many testing machines just to maintain their normal production volume. To make sure they don't become the bottleneck themselves and accidentally stall the global AI rollout, Advantest is aggressively reinvesting those massive profits. They've dedicated 100 billion yen strictly to R&D spending, ensuring they stay ahead of the curve as chip technology evolves. They are rapidly expanding their SoC tester production capacity to an incredible 10,000 units annually to meet this surging volume. Plus, they're opening new strategic innovation centers right in the heart of Silicon Valley to collaborate directly with their partners on the absolute cutting edge of test solutions. Moving into Section 3, Wall Street's bullish outlook. With this sustained AI capital expenditure trend expected to continue through at least 2027, the market is paying very, very close attention. While the general consensus rating from analysts is a buy, there's a really wide target price spread, from 23,000 yen on the low end all the way up to 39,200 yen on the high end. This highlights a genuine debate among analysts. The 12-month average target sits at roughly 32,350 yen, which definitely suggests potential upside, but that spread itself tells a story. Analysts are trying to figure out exactly how much of a premium valuation Advantest really deserves. Are we looking at a permanent plateau with high revenue, or will it eventually revert to historical norms? That's what's driving this massive price target gap. Which brings us to the key takeaways and risks every investor has to internalize. Yes, they hold a uniquely powerful and unparalleled position in the AI supply chain, but you have to weigh that carefully. Because of these incredible numbers, the stock trades at a premium PE ratio. That means sky-high expectations are already baked into the price, leaving very little room for error. They're also susceptible to execution risks. Ramping up capacity to 10,000 units annually is no small feat. And, naturally, they remain vulnerable to any potential macroeconomic slowdowns in broader AI spending by the hyperscalers. Despite those risks, though, the analyst community broadly agrees on one defining theme. This is a structural shift driven by AI, not a typical semiconductor market cycle. We are witnessing a long-term structural evolution in testing, not just a temporary market fluctuation. The days of simple chips with short test times, those are behind us. The era of massive, complex AI compute means testing is just a fundamentally larger piece of the semiconductor pie now. So, this leaves us with one fascinating question to ponder as the AI race continues to accelerate. As these chips become exponentially more intricate, is Advantest's dominance permanently locked in, or is a 62.7% profit margin simply too good to last? Will new competitors inevitably rise up, attracted by those massive margins, to challenge the gatekeeper? Or is the technological moat Advantest has built simply too wide for anyone else to cross?